What's going on? It's Justeeni here. I just played one of the craziest games I've ever played. This was a tiny map. I'm using Hoodrick because Hoodrick is really good. You're going to see a little bit of Hoodrick being really good, but this was mostly just a really crazy game in general. We're both using top tier tribes. Things are going to get messy. Let's just get right into things. So, yeah, like I didn't play this game very long ago, so yeah, it was fun though. So it's content now. So I'm stealing their city. So far things are pretty innocuous. I make an archer here. I don't know why I did that actually. This was a live game, but yeah, I guess I have the archer. It's doing its thing. Go for the explorer. I'm gonna get a lot of vision. Classic Luxor fashion though. Boom, they already have a giant. They got to turn 5 giant. And they have host advantage, so it's like really scary giant. I can get another explorer though. And yeah, snagging 2 explorers. I'm gonna be able to get I've got next turn, which means I can get a turn 7 giant, and they go for a catapult just out of nowhere. No lumber huts down, they just boom, catapult. And this catapult's gonna prove to be pretty good. You'll see some very interesting themes with this game. Ranged units will be pretty good. You can kind of see the shape of this map. I'm glad that I had basically full vision this whole game, because it made things a lot easier to play. I go ahead and pew pew. Get forestry. Pew pew. These catapults are so annoying. My archers can't reach. Normally archers are great against catapults, but not the case here. I'm able to pew pew the giant though, but they have a bunch of catapults. And now they do have to actively prepare for my giant, which is why I'm threatening this. So they need the 3rd catapult. This is just enough to deal with it. I have to stop them from getting the city. I'm down a city currently, but I'm still doing fine. My cities are nice and high leveled. I have strategy. My original idea with strategy was to go in the water and stuff. Not really actually worth it. I ended up figuring out what to do. Eventually. And if you're wondering what you're supposed to do here, you're supposed to get knights. See, like all these catapults, I get knights, so then they die. I get a farming rune, which is cool. Now I go for knights. And I'm advancing, trying to be all scary. I go for the knight. But they've got the juggernauts. They've got a lot of water control. Their catapults are being very annoying. I just don't have the breakthrough on land. They go for walled defender, putting a stop to my nonsense, but luckily I can go around. So the knight is still fine. Forcing out a wall, like, isn't actually that good for me because, yeah, that wall's gonna prove to be very good. I am able to chain 2 catapults though because they misplayed. I think it was around this point, maybe a little later, maybe around this point, where the opponent started to deal with time pressure, and then not long after I started to deal with time pressure, and you'll kind of see that it'll be a bit apparent, but for now I'm trying to get in the water in response to them getting in the water. Getting my giant next to the water here, so at a moment's notice, do that, get another knight to threaten the catapults. Their catapult is veteran though. Giant walks in. This giant is just dead though. This was a very bad play by them. But there will be a lot of shenanigans. I get another giant. Upgrade this. Defender. They can try to siege, but they don't. Instead, just trying to weaken my units. Now they weaken my giant, but I just disband it because I have free spirit. And right now we have a pretty interesting dynamic. I have knights and archers. They have catapults and scouts. We both have defenders. But yeah, we're also both on 4 cities. These catapults are just so strong, and the scouts are hard to deal with. Like, this is a common problem that I'm having. My eco is actually really good. It's actually better than theirs by a noticeable amount. But the problem is their units are more efficient than mine because I just can't reach their units. So they're just getting a bunch of free value, and I can't press my eco advantage because of that. And it's already turned 20. This game's going on pretty long. I'm building some ports here. I have a plan of doing some sneaky, like, infiltration into the water, but the catapult is there. Now bomber. And I am able to get a chain through here, though. Huge. I wish it could have been better, but I just couldn't get that warrior. Juggernaut's down, though. I'm able to deal with things here, but now another giant. And these two giants are going to be able to get into the water, and that's going to be a huge problem for me. I can't get into the water as like a counterattack. Well, at least I can try, but not right now. I can't quite make it work because I'd have to like train 0 units. But now a bomber here. Dealing with my archers causing a lot of problems. Double port, get both the giants in. Catapults are going to help support. I'm finally going with this that I planned like all this time ago. Push my giant in. Hopefully I can deal with these vulnerable catapults and bombers and stuff. Cause some problems for them. Maybe actually be able to fight for naval dominance. Poke away at the giant. I don't really have a good way of dealing with these juggernauts right now. And it's going to prove to be quite a problem because they send it here, and this defender can potentially be a bomber, which is really bad. I do go sailing so I can hit the catapult. Kind of sucks that I need to buy sailing to do that, but yeah. Giant goes in. Bomber is causing a lot of problems. My juggernauts are both going to die, so that idea of pressing just kind of wasted 2 giants. It did force a lot in response, which was nice, but I don't know if it was actually worth it. I go for city wall, so then I can hopefully hold on to the city for as long as I can. They've got the bomber though, so it looks like my units are just gonna die, which means I'm eventually losing the city anyway, which means this will just be completely catastrophic, and it's starting to look worse and worse for me. Like at this point I was like, what do I even do? I'm able to like cause some issues, deal with some catapults. So yeah, but I don't have a breakthrough. My only way of attacking through is either through the middle, through the water, which isn't happening, or through the east. But I'm able to get a nice chain here through the catapult. That restores some faith in my chances of winning. I get 2 catapults, so then they can't rely on this defense in the middle so much. Maybe I can actually get a breakthrough. But then they upgrade the city, and that gives me another idea. Diplomacy. Now I'm going to be able to cloak chain on the city, and they can't do a thing about it. I've got these defenders stopping them from waltzing into this tile to stop my cloak. But then these giants are here taking over the city. They get a giant though, which means my cloak attack is going to be even more effective, but also they have a giant, but that giant gets hit by catapults. I don't have a way of dealing with them here. They're just sieging. My rider's annoying hitting their bomber, which means I can finally maybe put some units in the water here without bombers just destroying them. They go for the siege, unfortunate for me. But I can use these scouts, finally. And even though I lose this city, I'm going to get it right back. Get the cloak chain here. And again, they've got all these units getting value, but I've got these cloaks getting direct value. And even though I lose the city, I'm going to get it right back. These bombers are able to pretty effectively take out the daggers, though. So it's still very hard to break through. I'm able to get a nice hit here. And already more than 30 turns have passed. Neither side has markets, by the way. None of us have any time. Like, I'm 1 tech away, but I'm having to spend all my stars every turn on something that can do something right now. Get another cloak attack. Go for climbing now to further out my cloaks and make use of this mountain that was next to my capital, but I couldn't this whole time. I go spiritualism. Spiritualism is kind of interesting here. I'll pause. So my decisions here, like, do I go spiritualism? Do I go aquatism, navigation? Do I go trade? I decided against trade because, again, I don't need more eco. I have 24 star per turn after capturing the city. I can literally spam, like, all the units I need. It's not like I'm spamming anything here besides defenders. So with my other cities, I'm more than good to go. Markets don't help me here. I go spiritualism, though, because I have stars and I want to spend them to get another giant, because if you look at my position, I have 0 giants. They have 2, this one's dead though, so they have 1 giant. But soon to be 2, they just border grossed here. So I'm down in super units, which is really bad in the long term. So I need to get super units, make use of my eco to get more super units. And then planting trees does give more defense bonus, which can sometimes be nice, but it's mostly I need to get another giant. And I saw a kind of expensive, but not too expensive way to get a giant on my capital, which is why I got spiritualism. These catapults are amazing though. The thing is, I can't reach their range units easily, but they can't reach mine at all. I can get that giant there, another cloak, another defender, still getting all the units I need every turn. Bombers taking out my daggers. Taking out my archers. It's really hard for me to keep archer spam going because archers just keep dying to the bombers. The bombers that I can't reach. Another giant though. And now they have 2 giants, almost full HP. They've got defenders here to deal with my knight. They've got riders, which are going to help deal with the daggers. Get some Vedicine going. But now suddenly this is a huge problem. How do I defend against the giant just waltzing in? I have my own giant. But it's not actually going to help, it's just going to get bombarded. And then I'll lose the city. But I am able to get a nice cloak chain over here. And I'm able to unsiege. Get a defender, another defender here. Just because their riders can actually reach in and cause problems, so I need defenders. So then that doesn't happen. But luckily their riders are currently occupied. So maybe I didn't need to train a defender, but I'm kind of panicking a lot in this situation. I'm able to get a chain here. Not quite able to break through, but I do get a nice cloak attack. Keep setting up this chain. I destroy the buildings here. This is a lost cause. I'm going to be down cities 5-3 in the late game, but at least they don't have an eco advantage. Well, they do, but it's not much. Actually, no, they don't, because this is getting infiltrated at the same time. So eco-wise, I still have that going for me without markets, by the way. I'm trying to put units in the water, but my catapults are there. Go for another chain, send a knight back here, another cloak hit, and just hit that defender with the catapult, heal those, another knight, another cloak, and they once again just deal with this, train some units, time pressure though, and they can't really train anything there in case I can chain. Navigation though, and I can get a bomber, and this is going to be huge. I misplayed a little bit. I could have killed this rider as well with proper play, but I don't care. This is actually now just completely winning. And they resign because I'm simply stealing the city. It'll be 4-on-4 again, but unless I can buy chivalry to destroy the buildings, which isn't really feasible here, then I'm going to be up a lot of eco, and I'm controlling this lake, which will mean that they can't make units from this city. And they actually can't really deal with my capital. My giant is actually saving my capital there. Things are super messy still, but they resign. I mean, this was a very long game. This was like over an hour. This was a tiny map too. What a crazy back and forth game. Like at some moments I thought, oh my goodness, this is terrible. And some moments I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm literally about to win. But yeah, absolute cinema. I thought this was super fun. You don't get to see these marketless like games very often, and you also don't get to see like games on tiny maps often. And you don't get to see late games where both players have completely different game plans. They were spamming catapults and bombers like almost the whole time. Whereas I was trying to go with knights and archers and then eventually cloaks. Eventually catapults and bombers did help a lot. There's a lot of battles with the giants. We kind of were grinding our super units down. Some cities got traded. They eventually won this one. Absolutely wild. I thought this was really cool though. It really showcases the strength of these tribes on tiny lakes. Like Luxador, I've made note is very, very strong on tiny lakes. And Hoodrick, I've also said, is very strong. You can really see why Hoodrick just unable to lose basically, and Luxador has insane early aggression. But yeah, I thought this game was really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.